Malaysia is getting Kuwaiti Hornets.
So Malaysia's been looking for a replacement for the MiG-29 for a while. When I was there, they operated 3 frontline fighters: MiG-29, Su-30, and the Hornet. I know for a long time Boeing was trying to get them to buy Super Hornets, which I think they should have done. I think it's been a mistake for them to wait so long, but it sounds like they're pretty latched onto this deal with Kuwait. So Kuwait bought like 28 Block 3 Super Hornets, and then I think also like 28 of the higher lot, whatever, Typhoons to replace their legacy Hornets. So Kuwait bought legacy Hornets after the first Gulf War. All they had back then were like A4s, I believe, and
A4s, yep.
Yeah, they didn't fare well against the Iraqi Air Force when they got invaded. So after the war, they put in a big order. I think it was like 70 or so of these Hornets. And because of the Kuwaitis, we in the U.S. got the EP engine, because in the high heat of the desert, the Kuwaitis wanted better thrust to weight. So thank you, Kuwait, for the EP engine. Much nicer. But the article just talks about Malaysia visiting Kuwait and trying to solidify this deal. They're kind of waiting on the American government as far as allowing it to happen. So, as far as this is a good move for the Malaysians, I haven't read anywhere where exactly how many of the Kuwaiti Hornets they're going to buy, but there is a benefit in numbers. When I was there, because they only had 8 jets, they didn't have as many parts supply, right? So a lot of times we run up against supply issues. So if you have a larger fleet, I think you're going to have a larger inventory of just parts and even airplanes you can scavenge from, because we had 1 or 2 that were basically parts birds when you only have 8. That's not, that's not good. But the Kuwaiti jets are relatively modern. I mean, they're very comparable to what the Malaysians have. So I think it would be a good fit for them. In my mind, they should buy them all, because I think the country could use it. It's just too bad they didn't buy the Super Hornet, because I think in the long run it will be cheaper, because they would have the latest and greatest right now instead of playing the upgrade game. And then also they would be 0-time airframes, although the Kuwaiti Hornets are some of the lower time airframes, and they have been maintained their entire life by civilian contract maintenance, which is good. So they're good airplanes. They're great airplanes. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We got any thoughts on other countries buying Hornets?
Small countries.
No, dude.
You only had 8 in the whole country?
Yeah, it's funny. When I was interviewing for the job, I should have known this, right? When I'm interviewing for the job,
you show up unprepared for something.
Correct. Yeah, I was like, "Hey, so am I going to be like at the RAG, or am I going to be at the operational side?" They're like, "Oh, it's one and the same, dude. You got 8 airplanes." I'm like,
they teach each other. Yeah,
right.
It's your first sortie, mine too. Figure it out. Well, inshallah.
Who's leading?
Well, so interesting point I just thought about is they had 4 of the 8 were T-birds that had stick in the back. The other 4 were completely Wizzo missionized. So the Kuwaitis only have, the majority of their jets are single seat. So they'll have to move right. So they'll have to move away from the 2-seat mentality. Although Shanghai, I'm a single seat guy too. But I will say, man, the way that they operate that airplane, like at night in the rain in the jungle and stuff with fog down low, they do low level at night on MVGs. A 2-seat version is not a bad thing all the time. I'll say that.
Yeah, and for the AFAC for the AFAC mission, FAC, I was going to call it now. It's a benefit as well. I think the Navy certainly thinks so. But I got a cool story though. So they've come a long way in 30 years. So when I was flying, I guess I got to start a story with no shit. There I was in a kill box right in Kuwait during combat, and I'm literally rolling in to drop some CBU, and here comes a 4-ship of Kuwaiti A4s in relatively close formation, just scooting right below me. They not talking to anybody. This is their country, So they didn't have very many of them, but they had those little scooters, and I guess the coalition was like, well, it's their country. We got to let them fly, right? So there they go. Just scoot to the kill box. There they go. Hey, maybe I'll come off dry this time.
Were they on the attack run too, or were they just transiting?
they were headed up towards Kuwait City. I don't know what they're doing. Nobody did. They weren't on the frag. They were just
They were just on
rolling
a
up there.
joyride, just seeing what was going
Yeah.
on. Hey boys,
check out their real estate or something. I don't know, but yeah, there they
Boys
go right
up
below
and-
me.
get some currency.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're of course, that you guys realize if I'm rolling in for a CBU delivery, they're not only below me, not talking to anybody in the kill boxes, but they are at an altitude that is just stupid, right? I mean, they're really the heart of all the AAA right there. There's just, and they go, and they're in like this, they're like the little kid, like a diamond formation, like in maybe like fighting wings sort of like spread, and they just go, just scooting across up towards Kuwait City. Oh, there they go. A4.
That's awesome.
So, Gonky, did you ever stop to think that maybe that's why no one else applied? Because they only they're like,
No.
yeah, that's
No.
why I got the job, Gonky.
No, a couple people applied. I was actually no kidding. I was actually their second choice. I wasn't the first mover. I was the second choice. Yeah. And what's funny is my boss, Sandy, later told me, he's like, yeah, the first guy is like, we offered him the job, but he wanted all these stock options and whatever. I never even asked what the pay was. I was like, dude,
Jets,
I want to go to Penang. I want to fly fighters. I want to fight those MiGs and flankers. Like, I'm in. It's like, well, you want to hear about the pay? I'm in.
Did you not hear me? I pay you next.
Right. Exactly. And
How
You
much
might have
do I
been number
pay?
2 in their program, but you were number 1 in their hearts by the time you left.
That's
I'm
right.
sure.
That's probably like, we've got a real winner here.
Well, it's. I mean, so 8 sounds a lot like Strike Fatron 204.
Yeah.
On a good
You
day,
didn't-
we had 8.
It was
Usually,
fr-
we had 1 or 2.
Yeah. I mean, if they get a bunch of these legacy jets, I mean, a lot of the parts are interchangeable. I mean, it'll be good for the RMAF because, a lot of their struggles are just kind of, I looked at it as almost simple logistics stuff, but like when you have only a small amount of airplanes, it doesn't make sense to have a giant warehouse just full of stuff, right? So, I hope they do get the airplanes, and it'll definitely boost their capability. I mean, those are good jets. They're low time. The Malaysian jets are low time. So, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully the U.S. approves it, and it's
So
it's
they're
expedited.
what? Then they're making room for what?
Who's making room? The Kuwaitis? Block 3 Super Hornets? What?
Could have been me.
Could have been
standing
me.
there with you.
Yeah, no, dude.
Uh-huh.
It's okay. It's
good
okay,
thing-
man.
Good thing life is a highway, huh?
Life.